Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers. I thank everybody that's involved with this process because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers.
Experience is not about the publisher, it is about us, the authors.
Hi, I'm Jill Fandrich, and thank you for being here today. I'm going to spend a little bit more time reviewing what my books are and summarizing them a little bit, and then I'll get into the topic of the day today. So my first book is Elevate Your Mind to Success, and we spent a few days talking about this one. And the idea behind this book is to find out where your thoughts are and reprogram your mind. I call it reprogram your pre-program to where you want it to be. You want to elevate your mind. You want to overcome the obstacles that are blocking your mind from positive thinking and get rid of the negative thinking and condition yourself to stay that way. And once you have done that, then you move to step 2. That's step 1 in what I call the 3-step process for personal and professional growth. And step 2 is success is elemental. And this is what you fill your mind with after you've done all that hard work of reprogramming it. Now you fill it with all the good stuff of this book, and it is quite a big book. So there's a lot of good stuff that you can fill it with. And the first 9 chapters deal with leadership skills and strategies and just right things to do, like being successfully revenged, but in a way that hurts nobody else in the process, and being an inspiration. So I go through 9 chapters of these leadership skills and then 50 chapters of character qualities which follow. And we will get into this book more today, which is step 2. Step 3 in this process, after you have cleared your mind of the negativity and you've elevated and you've chosen the high frequency vibrations, then hi, good morning. Hi, Cassandra. It's nice to see you again too. 3rd day. Yes. Can you believe it already? And so you move to step 3, which is now who connects your dots? And this is all about critical thinking. So after you put the good stuff in your mind, you want to keep it there. So it's important to have the right kind of thinking. And in today's world, we really need to critically think because of all the propaganda out there. And with all the news media and sources we have coming in, it is mostly persuasive and influential. And it's highly hyped and emotional. So it's important to sort through all that and figure out what the truth is in an objective and unbiased way. And so I talk about that in my step 3. So all the hard work we did in step 1 and 2, we can maintain and even continue to grow. So that's who connects your dots. And along with that, I've added a few additional chapters. and it's dealing with the medical issues that are going on today in today's culture. And this is Medically Speaking, Who Connects Your Dots. So this is evidence-based, and it gets into some of the things for today. Hello, Mason. It's nice to speak with you today. Thank you for coming here. I'm so happy to speak with all of you today. And I didn't want to leave students out. Now, students can be anyone age 11 to 100 plus. I'm still a student myself. So I wanted to get into different issues, though, when you think of students. And I do want to address our children. Our children are in a world of electronics, and they encounter so many things that maybe some of us hadn't had to encounter when we were growing up. So I decided to write a whole nother book. It is for students, but it's really for anyone too. And this addresses different issues. We get into, or I guess I get into, things like how do you make right decisions, good decisions based on everything that's out there, and obedience to authority. And peer pressure. Oh, that's a big one. And that one goes for everyone. Even as adults, we encounter peer pressure, and leadership skills and finances and budgeting. So Deidre, hello. It's nice to talk to you today. So there are 23 chapters in Students Who Connects Your Dots. And that is going to be the biggest book yet. It is already at the publisher. And that will even be bigger than my Successes Elemento. I just seem to have a lot to say. And that book can be used. Let's see, the Festival Stories, wonderful lineup of authors. I have loved watching all these authors. I'm trying to get into as many as I can. And I agree with you. Every one of them has been absolutely amazing. And I really enjoy hearing every different story. It's so much fun. With students, I have it set up a little differently than the others, where it's a course in itself. And I would really love to see it get into high schools, colleges, universities, and it can even be used in churches as a standalone course, like a 9-week course. And you could even do it twice, because there's 23 chapters, so you'll never run out of content. I'm ready for another session of growing towards success. Yes, let's do that, Mary. I agree. Let's go for it. And so with this course, 23 chapters, and also in a community, or I've seen libraries have programs too. Like they've done some on different budgeting things, and absolutely wonderful. So hopefully this course will be effective for everybody, and can even stand alone as a course, not just a book to read, but it would be so good for all kids today too, and any kind of a student, no matter how old you are or young you are. Then I've shown you my disease prevention books. I didn't mention, though, they are both digital. And that's why I have them on cards here, so you can see them, but they're actually digital versions, and they're on Kindle right now in the Unlimited. So if you have Kindle Unlimited, they're for free at the moment. And then this one will be $4.99, this one $5.99 after that, but I want to keep them there as long as possible. They gave me a time limit on how long they can be unlimited, I believe, but for now, they're still free, and these are they're fun. I have them colored pictures, and there's hyperlinks that take you all over to other people's sites too, so they can get promoted as I wrote these, and you can see the good things they have on their sites too. But the idea for these is disease prevention in general, how to build your body up naturally to prevent diseases in the first place. Then my final book, which is, it's still in my head, but I know what I'm going to write. It's The Missing Variable. Have you ever been in a situation where you feel like you've done everything right? You have worked hard, you've followed the rules, you followed all the steps, you followed the recipe, and somehow it just didn't work out anyway. Well, that didn't work out was the missing variable. And there are so many situations where this happens, a big one being like in a marriage. You do all the right things, but there's a missing variable there you cannot control. And it's all about those things that you can't control. And maybe in a work environment, you have done all the steps in a project and it didn't work out the way you wanted it to. Well, there's a missing variable there. And this is about finding and identifying that missing variable and facing it, dealing with it, and how to resolve it. I want to bring it all to a resolution and leave you in a way where you're not ridden with guilt. Because many times when things don't work out for us, we feel guilty about it or some kind of regret. And it's so important not to let those negative feelings weigh us down. So it's about moving past all that, but after resolving it, not ignoring it. We need to resolve it and then move on. So thank you again for all being here today. I just wanted you to understand the process of my books a little bit. And the first 3 books I call them the trilogy. So if you would go to my website, www.abookintime.net, you'll see them listed as a trilogy. But I also offer, now that we know each other a little bit better, if you wanted an autographed copy, I have that on my website too. And the 3 books I call a Gilogy. So I would be able to sign all 3 for you. And in the cart section, there's a place in there where you could write if you wanted me to write something specifically. And if not, I can choose something very heartfelt to sign on there for you. That would be a surprise. So anyway, I just wanted you to know that I have paperback copies that you can purchase individually from the website, either just alone or autographed. So that is just something to consider. Let's see. And then now today, I would like to summarize, first of all, what we did yesterday on Elevate, since that's our last day with Elevate. And we talked about positive thinking and all the obstacles that might get in the way. And in order to resolve them, you need to read the book to find out the rest of that. But we also talked about the phrase positive toxicity and focusing on positively affecting those around us, since we can't reach out to everybody where we'd like to and help and save the world. We still can affect those within our reach. And I just highly encourage you to do that. A good friend of mine has taught me the phrase, find a need and meet it. I just love that. So just today, go out and find a need and meet it. And I also talked about the idea somebody had brought up about how to affect a pessimistic person. So we discussed that as well. So now, yesterday, a few questions came in after our time was up, and 2 people, Elizabeth Schultz and Pauline Adams, wrote the same question. And they asked, do you think everyone is capable of empathy? Now, this is just my opinion. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's just mine. But I don't think everyone is capable of empathy. I think there are times, I read some psychology things, and I'm not a psychologist. This is all an opinion. But I have read about how around age 11, your neurons are where they're going to be. And if there was a traumatic childhood, whether physical or mental, I do think that all the connections might not have been made. And there could be a lack of empathy as a result in some cases, or even later in life, a trauma or some kind of mental disorder or some kind of reason. There's even personality types, like maybe in narcissism or in a borderline personality. But I do believe that there are some people that are not capable of empathy. And then Jennifer Jackson had a comment and question. We have a lot to juggle in life, and it can be very overwhelming. So how do you know which to prioritize? Any tips? And for me personally, I believe in getting that mental clutter out of your head. Get it out of your head and onto paper. As soon as you do that, you've already freed your mind to work towards a solution. When it's in there, yes, I agree. There are people who just can't empathize. It's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. It truly is. But I almost think we need to, since we know better, we need to work on our end and understand and not take it personally. Because sometimes we can allow ourselves to be hurt by it. But if we can understand that they just don't get it or don't have the ability, then we're not hurt in the process. I hate to say it, but it is their problem, not our problem. And we can pray for them and, hope for the best on that. But thank you for that comment, Cassandra. So back to the list, I think that once you clear your mind already starts working on solutions. We talked about that, those heavy mental clutter things that are like sticky. They just stick in your brain, and you will constantly be just trying to remember them until you write them down. Now you don't have to remember them anymore because they're in writing. So that's already starting your process of resolving them. And then put a time frame on them, ones that have a deadline, like bills. You need to get them out, or you're going to get a financial problem in addition to that financial problem. Get those things paid. And then your loved ones, who has something? Do your kids have something going on that they want you to attend? I mean, these are personal priorities. Take care of all the personal priorities and the financial priorities first. Tracy Wells commented, looking forward to today's lineup, day 3. Yahoo! Yes, I agree. This is wonderful. And I can't wait to see all those other authors out there too when I'm done. But then after that, when you're left with the list of things that are just there, then I always take which one is the heaviest, the most dreaded, the one I don't want to do. And I do tackle that one first. And once I take care of that one, I feel so good about it. I just knock about 3 or 4 more off the list right away after that. So I keep shifting then to the heaviest, worst, dreaded one first, and I deal with it first. And then I just feel so good about myself. I keep going from there. So that's just a little summary on how I do things to not be so overwhelmed. So thank you for all these questions. They've been wonderful. Now for today, I have on the list for positively approachable. And with that, I also have approaching things positively. So they're kind of 2 different things, but I'll take any questions on either one of them. So I'm not sure. Do you have a preference which one we talk about first? Whether it's how to be approached from people feel like they can approach you. That is really important. Why don't we just start there? Because that's a great place to start. If you think about yourself, let's see, Betty, it's 3rd day and it's awesome how we still have so much to talk about. We really do. We're only on book 2 here. So we have a long ways to go yet. And this is wonderful. So I have a feeling when this is all over, I'm going to feel a little sad. So I'm going to have to read my books to make sure I stay in a positive, upbeat mind, because I'm going to miss talking to all of you. So anyway, imagine, say you're a leader. Now we're getting into more success strategies here. So if you're a leader, and that could be the leader of your family. So we're all in a position of leadership in one way or another. So as a leader, can all those under you, so to speak, approach you? Do you feel like everybody has the wouldn't be afraid to come to you? And that's really important to look at and to think about, and to make sure that there's nobody around you that is afraid to come to you. And now think of it from the other point of view. Like, say you're a staff member. Are you afraid to approach your boss or somebody over you in authority and administration? And do you think they're afraid to approach you? And how about how do you approach your peers? Are you approachable? Anita said, I love how you remember and get back to previous commenters. I'm not sure how, because I claim I do not have a good memory at all, but you guys are so important to me today. For some reason, it's been sticking with me. Every question is very important. And I do hope if I do miss something that you'll come back to me and give me a chance to resolve it and answer any questions that you have. So anyway, those are questions to think about, and they tell you a lot. When you observe things like that, you learn so much from it. Deanna says, agreed. It's also important to acknowledge the things we can't control. Absolutely. And don't take credit for them, so to speak. Don't let yourself feel guilty about them. That is such an important point. And it took me years to learn that. And that's all part of my missing variable. That's probably where that comment came from. And that's why I can't wait to write that book. And I love it. And my desire for that book, and I'm sorry, I'm jumping back to that. I really want people to release guilt. And I want people to recognize that no matter how hard we try, it can't always be right. It might not always work. And we need to release that guilt and just move forward in a positive way, learn from it, use it as an opportunity for growth. I love how you're so passionate about your advocacy. It's refreshing seeing individuals so fired up in helping others. Thank you, Brenda. Yes, I think this has always been in me, even starting with my career in the medical field. I just always wanted a way to help people. And, there's so many mandates and things going on now. It's a little harder to reach a patient. So I found other ways to reach people and patients at the same time. So it's very exciting. And I feel a much better connection this way. I know I was led into doing this. So I'm going to go passionately full forward, full speed ahead, and continue with it. So the importance of being approachable, you build trust. Imagine if you are approachable, you're going to build trust, and that builds a relationship. And with a relationship, you build collaboration, and so much more successful when everybody has an open mind and is ready to be creative and imaginative, and they're not afraid. They're not afraid to hold back. That just allows even more people to build your success, and you build their success. And when we're all in it together, and say it's in a work environment, you want to build up your staff, and the staff probably wants to be built up as well. The more you work as a team, and the more you help each other, and the more you grow with each other, the more success all of you will have. So it's just a wonderful thing to make sure you are approachable, have that smile, maintain an open body language, and be willing to let people approach you. It might take some planning ahead so you have that time, because we're always so busy right now that we value our time. I consider time to be one of the most valuable assets right now. And I want to respect your time, and I know you want to respect my time too. And, in doing so, we want to be prepared. And so we are approachable, because we don't want to be so overly busy that we miss an opportunity for someone to approach us with something that's very important to them. Barbara comments, I don't know if someone has asked before, but what do you mean by the question, who connects your dots? Very, very good question. Thank you for asking that, because there's probably more people out there that are wondering the same thing. And that is with my critical thinking books. Are you connecting your own dots? Do you watch the media, say, as an example, and do you just hear a story and believe it and follow the crowd? Or do you say, well, wait a minute, I heard somewhere else this, and let me check on that. And it's a matter of figuring it out for yourself. A lot of media, in my opinion, is trying to conform everyone to the same opinion. And I just want everyone to look at both sides and be your own individual. So that in my book, Who Connects Your Dots, is asking you if you realize if you are connecting your own dots, or is somebody else connecting them, whoever it might be. It could be a matter of being influenced by friends or another group of something, or some of the information from media, or whatever it may be. But it's about letting you find out who connects your dots, and if you're okay with that, and you are the only one who knows. If you're all right with it, then that's your answer, and that's fine. But that's what it means for who connects your dots. Truth. Information is so accessible these days. It's easy to fall victim to misinformation. Yes, it is. And sometimes it's not even intentional. And sometimes it's just to promote a product and to, for a business purpose and to make money. And you can respect that. I mean, we all need to work and fund our futures. But it is also important to make sure that you know what your values and beliefs are, and to evaluate things and make sure all the decisions you're making and the information you're evaluating, that it's aligned with your values and beliefs. So it's very important. And it's just more challenging today, I think, than it's ever been before. And not to get into the weeds here, but In 2012, the Smith-Bunt Modernization Act did start promoting the ability for media to lie. And that came out in 2013. It was actually approved. So now the media actually has permission to lie. So it's just so important for us to be able to evaluate it and to make our own decisions after we've looked at it individually. Mutual respect is really very important to marriage and any kind of relationship. Yes, it is. Very, very good comment. Thank you for sharing that. A mutual respect. And when you are approachable, you do show the trust, and it opens communication and the ability to listen. And that is showing mutual respect. You want to know what is interesting to the other person and what their concerns are. And you also want them to take some time to hear yours as well, and to trust you, and to be available and open when you have a need. You might not have needs at the same time, or maybe you're going to work on a project together. You need to know that you can both have enough respect for each other, that you're open to different perspectives and new ideas and experiences. And everybody has so many wonderful gifts and talents that can be shared, and the end result could be absolutely amazing when you have a collaboration with everybody in it, mutually respecting each other. But how do you become approachable but not taken advantage of? Wow, that's a really, really good question. You have to have boundaries. You have to know your limits. And this really goes back to knowing what your values and beliefs are. Know the line you're not going to cross. Know the lines you will cross. Because there are areas where we're okay to give a little bit. It's not the hill you want to die on, but also know which one you will stand up for. There are so many people out there that once they push, if they get what they wanted, they'll keep going. And not everybody, but sometimes you do come across that. And it's tough, especially if you're not a confrontational person. I am not a confrontational person. So I think it's extra hard for people like me, where somebody could take advantage because you want to be kind and you want to be nice. So that is a really, really good question to get out there. And you have to find out what works for you and really learn how to build your boundaries, but do it in a respectful way, in a kind way, but assertive. Don't let people cross your line. Just make sure you have the right approach in doing so, and then you're going to build more respect. You're going to build confidence in yourself. They're going to have confidence in you for standing up for what you believe in. It's all a matter of doing it in the right way. Let's see. With a lot of temptations nowadays, our morals are being tested. Yes, they are, very much so. And it's often in disguise. That's the hardest part, to identify it. And that is where the critical thinking is so important. You have to really analyze, is this real? Isn't it real? What's the other side say? And take some time and do a little research. It's harder to make. We still have to make quick decisions. And that's where the programming of your mind comes in. And that's where all of this developed from. When you start with a programmed mind and fill it with the right stuff, by the time you get to the critical thinking, you're in a better position to make automatic, good decisions based on what you've already programmed in there. You're more likely. You still have that missing variable where it doesn't always come out the right way, but you're in a much better position and a much higher chance that you're going to come up with a good choice. And Tracy asks, how do you find balance between positivity and acknowledging mistakes and facing reality? Well, let's see. Acknowledging mistakes, that is such a wonderful and freeing thing. It is so much better than hiding it or denying it or not facing it. When you acknowledge it, you're building trust in other people, you're building respect, and that should boost your confidence that you're doing an amazing thing, because that is a strong, courageous thing to do. We should always acknowledge our mistakes. That's easier said than done. And I'm sorry, I missed the last part of that. I was trying to answer the first. I see it disappeared from my screen. But in resolving the mistake and acknowledging it, I think you build so much respect and appreciation from other people, because that is such a courageous thing to do, that can be the start of building up the positivity again. And no matter what, you've done the right thing. And that's really where it should come from, for you to get back in a positive mindset. Now the rest is up to them. I mean, the rest is their problem. All you need to do is acknowledge, apologize, make it known, know that you're moving forward. You've done what you can. Now let the guilt go. Now move ahead. Oh my gosh, this was the fastest day yet. I am so sorry. I see I have a minute left, but I think that knowledge to bring you back to positivity, knowing you just did an amazing and courageous thing. So thank you so much for being here today. I'm sorry, I don't know where this time went, but please visit my website at www.abookintime.net. Now, tomorrow's session is going to be special. It is about valuing other people. So I'm going to have a friend with me, because I really value my friends. So a friend's going to join me tomorrow. And this is also from the book, Success is Elemental. Thank you so much for being here today. I love all of you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.